Would everybody please rise for the judges of the court?
Please be seated, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Taylor, and I'm the administrative judge for the 7th Judicial District. And it's my honor to be the first to welcome everyone who is joining us virtually, as well as the members of the bench and the bar and the many friends and family members of those whom we honor today. Welcome also to everyone here who is with us in the Hall of Justice, my colleagues from the bench, as we honor our colleagues with this long-standing tradition. Thank you to each and every one of you. It really is an honor for me to preside over this ceremony, and I am grateful for the privilege to do so. As many lawyers and judges know in this room, throughout each of our careers, we look at the list of honorees every year, and each of us see the number of people that we know and respect and miss grow each and every year. And this year, of course, is no exception. The list contains legal giants who have left their indelible marks on our profession. So on behalf of all of the judges of the court here in Monroe County, all the judges in the jury box and all the court staff, we extend our deepest and most heartfelt condolences to the friends and family of those we honor today. This observance, this annual tradition, is always meaningful to all of us who work in this courthouse. As many of you know, our legal community in Monroe County is very close-knit. We are truly a family. And today's tributes give all of us an opportunity to reflect on members of our family whom we see no longer, but who live on in our hearts and our memories as those we have loved and respected as friends, colleagues, and fellow stewards of the law. During this ceremony today, we are reminded of the sacrifices made by the attorneys and the judges we honor who cleared a path so all of us can do the work that we do today. They have each left a legacy for us to admire, to learn from, and aspire to. Examples of what is good and what is right about the legal profession. So on behalf of my fellow attorneys and judges, I want to thank all of the families who are here today for supporting the attorneys and the judges that we honor and remember. Each one of you have shared these legal giants with all of us. All those late nights away from the family, the hard work that these attorneys and judges did for others, and the problems that they kept solving in their minds long after they left the office for the day. You supported them as they worked with us to move the law forward. So today, we honor your sacrifices as well. And for those sacrifices that you have all made, we will always be grateful. I want to again thank the members of the Monroe County Bar Association Memorial Committee, the folks that are seated right in front of me. Thank you for what you do to carry on this tradition. And I want to also thank all those who work to make sure that today and every day, all of us in the legal profession remember and honor the attorneys who have passed on by carrying on their work, carrying on the legal profession, and holding the torch high that they have passed on to all of us. It is now my pleasure to thank and introduce my friend, the chair of the Memorial Committee, Scott Rogoff. Mr. Rogoff.
Your Honor, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your words were so kind and sincere, and I know that they're shared by all of us, both here in person and virtually today. We are grateful and very fortunate to have you presiding over the ceremony, Judge. Thank you again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today for the 2023 Monroe County Bar Association's memorial ceremony, which is as much a ceremony as it is a celebration of accomplishments and a celebration of life. To the members of the judiciary, thank you so much for being with us today. Honored guests, family, friends, and friends of those attorneys and judges that we pay tribute today, welcome. Your Honor, I now move the court to open this special proceeding so that the Monroe County Bar Association's Memorial Committee can pause today and honor the 22 attorneys and judges of the Greater Rochester area who have passed away from September 1, 2022 to September 1, 2023, so many of whom were longstanding members of the Bar Association and made such valuable contributions.
Thank you, Counsel. You're up.
Thank you, Judge. So just before we begin with the reading of the tributes, a couple things. We want to thank, again, everyone who is here, both in person and virtually. I know there are a lot of folks watching us on their mobile devices and other social media devices. So we just hope that our collective presence brings everybody a little bit of comfort and support. So please know, for those of you streaming, your presence is definitely felt with us here in the courtroom. Now, for those of you in the audience who prepared tributes, you may notice that what you hear today from the readers and the podium might be a little shorter than what you drafted. And that's really because due to the sake of time and the number of honorees that we have, we want to make sure that everyone had enough time to be honored. So we had to edit some of them a little bit, just for time, just for length. Some of them we had to edit a little more for length and time, but rest assured that there is a tribute book that has been prepared by the Bar Association, which contains the entire tribute, and that will be available to one family member for each honoree. It will also be posted on the Monroe County Bar Association's website at www.mcba.org. I read this thing every single year, and I would encourage all of you to read it as well. I assure you that you will find the stories contained in the tribute book to be inspirational, beautiful, and absolutely memorable. So with that in mind, I'd like to ask Memorial Committee member Chris Corcoran to come to the podium and begin the tributes. Chris.
May it please the court. A tribute to Luther W. Miller, born 1932. Luther was survived by his loving wife, Iris, his daughters, Allison and Ruthie, and their spouses, and grandson, Christopher Brancone. He spent his childhood in rural Ohio and then in Dover, New Jersey. He graduated from Cornell University and Cornell Law School. He served as an officer in the U.S. Army and the New York National Guard. He practiced law with McFarland and Harris, many years as managing partner, and subsequently co-founded the firm of Cook and Miller. From 1984 until his death, he served as grants director for the Wilmot Foundation and he volunteered for 13 years as an ombudsman for Lifespan for the residents of the Episcopal home. Luther also acted and directed with several community theater groups and was a member of the informal Four Corners Athletic Club. He was a worldwide traveler and spent summers or part of them on Monhegan Island, Maine, where he volunteered at the museum and performed many other community services. He was also an avid Red Sox fan. One of Luther's and my claims to fame or infamy was from 2008 to 2016, we went to breakfast together 64 times and never repeating a restaurant. It included Nick Tahoe's, where Luther dutifully consumed the garbage plate. And we once discussed whether or not old curmudgeon was a redundant phrase. And we concluded, since we had each passed our 90th birthday, it was okay to call us old curmudgeons. Luther was very special and fun. Respectfully submitted, H. Robert Herman.
A tribute to Ralph A. Horton, born 1936. Ralph Horton passed away on November 18, 2022, a little less than 2 weeks after his 86th birthday. Ralph was destined to be an attorney. As the fifth of 7 children, he was a born mediator and advocate. He graduated from Aquinas Institute, St. John Fisher College, and the Columbus School of Law at Catholic University in Washington, D.C. After 6 months in the Army, he returned to Rochester, where he practiced law for almost 60 years. Ralph's independent legal practice covered everything from wills and real estate to divorces, family court, education, and immigration. He enjoyed meeting with clients and sharing their stories, even the occasions when he was paid in produce, a gently used riding lawnmower, or assorted home improvement services. He served on 2 school boards, 2 publishing boards, a small construction company board, and a community theater board. Ralph loved travel, music, movies, theaters, and books. He never met a library sale he didn't love. He married his wife, Kathleen, in 1974, and together they raised 2 daughters, Mariana and Sarah, with whom he shared all of his passions. The extended Horton family knew that Ralph and Kathleen's backyard was the place to be on the 4th of July, but Christmas Day was Ralph's favorite holiday to host. After selecting an elaborate menu, he began preparing at least 3 days before Christmas and always presented a feast to his loved ones. He was an adored brother, uncle, husband, father, and grandfather. Respectfully submitted, Kathleen Horton and family.
A tribute to the Honorable Henry J. Scudder, born 1945. Justice Scudder, easily identified by his Stetson, preferred to be known as Hank, a guy from Steuben County. Hank was smart, honest, fair, kind, funny, and could figure out anything with a pen and legal pad. He was respected as a jurist for his brilliant legal mind, common sense approach, and respect for attorneys and litigants. He served on the bench for 35 years, including as presiding justice of the Fourth Department. Hank graduated from Campbell Central School at 17. Because he did not live up to his sister's scholarly accomplishments, he took summer classes where he met Barbara, who later became his wife. Hank earned a BBA from Stetson University, where his strong work ethic offset his fraternity antics. He went to the University of Tennessee for law school and dreamed of becoming a country music singer. He loved country music almost as much as he loved the law. An armchair sports fan, he loved golf, the Tennessee teams, the Yankees, and the Boston Celtics. Hank and Barbara once traveled on the same plane as the Celtics, and upon landing, Hank hustled to the plane with them, leaving Barbara with baby Ashley to manage on their own. Hank and his faithful foursome played golf at Bath Country Club at first light, not deterred by fog or frost, rationalizing that we never got held up. That left him plenty of time to spend at his favorite place, the office. Hank is survived by his beloved wife, Barbara, their daughter, Ashley James, her husband, Michael, and the light of his life, Liliana, his sister, Judy McIntyre, and many friends. Respectfully submitted, Barbara Scudder.
A tribute to Michael J. Townsend. Michael Townsend passed away after a courageous battle with Parkinson's disease. Survived by his loving wife, his 2 grateful children and their spouses, 4 beloved grandchildren, 2 stepsons, and his sister. Mike grew up in Hamden, Maine, and attended the University of Maine, where he played Division I baseball. He moved to Rochester after graduating from Western New England College Law School. He had a successful career as a commercial real estate partner at Gates & Adams, and in 2003, he joined Harris Beach as a partner in the Public Finance Practice Group. Through Mike, Harris Beach grew the practice by learning that no matter how big or small the clients, they all faced the same macro and microeconomic challenges and the same political and business concerns. Mike took on that changing landscape with one goal in mind: get the project done for the client. Mike served in the State Power Authority Board for 8 years, as a chairman for his last 3, serving under 4 governors. He was also a former board member of the Rochester YMCA. Mike was an avid Red Sox fan and the proud owner of an extensive collection of baseball memorabilia. He cheered loudly for his children at baseball and basketball games and was the unofficial record holder for ejections at local youth sports events. Known to some as Barney, many as Mike, and a select few favourites as Grumpy, Mike will be remembered for his wit, his often brusque exterior, which masked his deeply caring nature and his generosity. Respectfully submitted by his friends and colleagues at Harris Beach PLLC.
Memorial tribute to Paul Lang. Paul Lang grew up in Glens Falls and went to Brown University and Michigan Law School. He met Angelo Ferracci in 1963 as trial adversaries while Paul was at Winchell Connors. They would soon combine to form what is now Ferracci Lang. For over 50 years, Paul passionately represented the injured, making hundreds of lifelong friends of clients and opposing attorneys. Paul was a great lawyer, successfully trying many big cases, including the first federal court asbestos trial in Rochester, which yielded the largest verdict of its era. But he was so much more than that. Paul was like a brother or father to everyone, always interested in our lives and families. He was also an incredible father, stepfather, and grandfather. Paul and his wife Dora's summer home on Keuka Lake was a gathering point for friends and family, which created so many great memories. Paul and Dora were committed benefactors and purveyors of Rochester's art, music, culture, and history. They once owned their own gallery on Monroe Avenue. Dora herself was a talented and prolific painter. Visiting their home in the neighborhood of the arts was like visiting an art museum with their vast collection displayed everywhere. Dora predeceased Paul in 2016, and he missed her every day. Paul's partner and longtime friend, Angelo Ferracci, described him best. Paul had an explosive exuberance that was infectious and an abundance of empathy for those suffering from life's tragedies. His kindness and sensitivity made him perfect for representing the seriously and catastrophically injured, and he took great satisfaction helping to put lives back together. He was not only a super trial lawyer, but an effective healer. Submitted by Paul's friends and colleagues at Ferracci Lang.
A tribute to the Honorable Timothy J. Schofield, born 1945. Timothy Joel Schofield, a Rochester native, returned to his hometown after earning his law degree from the University of Dayton in Ohio. His heart, however, belonged to the serene Adirondack town of Inlet. In 2012, he realized his dream of settling there, acquiring a legal practice in nearby Old Forge. Tim's joy for being a small town attorney rekindled his passion for the law after years of legal work in Rochester and Monroe County. In 2017, Tim was elected Town Justice of Inlet, where he exemplified fairness and justice. Tim's dedication to his community was cherished by all. Outside of his legal pursuits, Tim found solace in solving crossword puzzles and honed his golf skills at the Inlet Golf Club. He often participated in charitable golf tournaments. Tragically, Tim was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer in August of 2021. After a brave 16-month battle, he passed away on December 3rd, 2022, surrounded by loved ones, including his partner Eva, daughter Allie, Eva's children Samantha, Miranda, and Zachary, and Eva's sister Sissy. Tim's remarkable humility left a lasting impression on clients who praised his down-to-earth nature and delightful sense of humor. His accessibility and open-hearted approach endeared him not only as a lawyer, but as a trusted confidant and friend. Since his passing, countless stories and testimonials have celebrated Tim as a true gentleman, emphasizing his kindness, humility, and warmth. His legacy lives on through the lives he touched, forever remembered for his enduring impact. Respectfully submitted by Eva Eberhardt.
William M. Colby. Bill Colby, a retired partner of Harder, Seacrest, and Emery, passed away on December 4, 2022. A native of Commerce, Michigan. Bill was a passionate fan of the University of Michigan's football and basketball teams, having graduated from both its college and law school. After a nationwide search for the right place to settle, Bill and his wife Brenda selected Rochester, where he joined Weiser Shaw, the predecessor firm to Harder, Seacrest, and Emery. There, Bill headed the firm's tax department for over 2 decades. A brilliant legal analyst, Bill chaired several committees of the New York State and American Bar Associations and authored numerous articles in leading tax journals. Bill was incredibly active in the Rochester community, serving as president of the Monroe County Bar Foundation and as chairman of the boards of the Rochester Museum and Science Center and the Genesee Community Charter School. He also served on the boards of the SUNY Brockport Foundation and the Sojourner House Shelter for Battered Women. Bill was especially proud of his son, Tom, a graduate of East High School who went on to serve as law clerk to the United States Supreme Court Justice David Souter. Bill Colby was truly instrumental in the growth of Harder, Seacrest, and Emory, and his legal acumen and exemplary ethics are greatly missed. Respectfully submitted by his law partner, Nathan J. Robvogel.
A tribute to Robert F. Meacher. After suffering from a long illness, Bob passed away on December 6, 2022. Bob graduated from Cornell University and the Syracuse University College of Law. Bob began his career in law practicing at Milbank, Tweed, in Manhattan. He then moved to Rochester and served as a partner at Underberg & Kessler, LLP, Boylan Brown, Code, Vigdor & Wilson, LLP, and Woods Ovia Gilman, LLP. Bob was a well-respected attorney with an impressive record of accomplishments. He concentrated his practice in the areas of corporate and securities law and mergers and acquisitions. He also served as senior vice president and general counsel with Applied Theory Corporation. He loved cooking gourmet foods, gardening, and photography. Bob served his community throughout his life, specifically through sitting on a number of boards, including the JCC and the MCC Foundation. He is survived by his loving wife, Mary, children Melinda, Amy, Nicole, and Christopher, grandchildren Gabriella, Tyler, Andrew, Emily, Maxim, Sienna, Beckett, and Kaya, brothers Ralph and Ron, and many beautiful nieces and nephews. He was predeceased by parents Maurice and Ruth, and father and mother-in-law Anthony and Beverly. Respectfully submitted, Gregory W. Gribbin.
Memorial tribute to Howard R. Rellin. Howard Rellin was born and raised in Rochester, the son of attorney Charlie Rellin and his wife, Belle. After graduating from Monroe High School, Howard attended Columbia University and NYU Law, where he was more interested in fun and opera than studying. So he dropped out and joined the Army. More focused, 3 years later, Howard enrolled at the University of Buffalo Law School, graduating in 1968. Howard was admitted to the bar in 1969. Perhaps influenced by his younger brother's death by a drunk driver, Howard joined the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, where he became an accomplished prosecutor. In 1983, Governor Mario Cuomo appointed Howard district attorney to fill a vacancy. Howard won a full term that fall in a hotly contested election. He met the love of his life, Betsy, during the campaign, who Nick Robvogel had dragooned into being his campaign chair. Howard and Betsy then married. Howard became very close to Betsy's children, Joni, Marty, Mike, and Maura, becoming their second father and later a second grandfather to their children. Howard was reelected 4 times. When he retired in 2003, his 20 years in office made him the longest serving district attorney in county history. He depoliticized the office, hiring staff regardless of party affiliation, and supported his prosecutors, one of whom, Mike Green, succeeded him as DA. Others became judges, including his former first assistant and current federal judge, Charles Siragusa. Howard passed at age 81 after a long struggle with heart disease. He left an unsurpassed legacy of public service excellency. His many friends and family members will never forget him. Rest in peace, my friend. Respectfully submitted by the Honorable Stephen K. Lindley.
A tribute to Robert C. Johnson. Bob Johnson impacted so many lives. He was a talented lawyer with the personality, confidence, and skills to lead a firm of excellent attorneys at a very young age. Bob graduated from Penfield High School, Denison University, and Syracuse University College of Law. Early in his career, Bob represented First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Rochester, a hometown financial institution that grew to become one of the country's largest savings and loan associations. Representing a fast-growing financial institution with an expanding geographic reach prompted Bob and several of his colleagues to merge their practices with Phillips Lytle in 1982. Bob led the Phillips Lytle Rochester office for many years, fostering the careers of countless attorneys who became well-versed in banking, commercial real estate lending, and corporate law. Bob's clever sense of humor, keen skills, competitive nature, and approachability were perfect for developing a small group of attorneys into a highly respected firm many times its original size. Clients and colleagues revered and respected Bob, and many owe their success to Bob's guidance and friendship. As talented as he was, Bob was foremost a family man, a wonderful and dedicated father immensely proud of his family. He was quick to share stories of their latest adventure or a humorous anecdote. There is no finer tribute to a wonderful father than the amazing, accomplished, kind, and generous people his children have become. Bob will be missed by his loving wife, Betsy, and countless others who had the good fortune of knowing him. Respectfully submitted by Richard M. Beers, Jr.
A tribute to the Honorable John J. Pizzaturo, born 1945. John passed unexpectedly on February 2nd, 2023, at the age of 77. He was predeceased by his loving wife, Rosalba, 1 month earlier. He is survived by his daughters, Nicole Pizzaturo and Renee Piazza, son-in-law, Anthony Piazza, grandchildren, Serafina and Giovanni, sister, Roseanne Jackling, brother-in-law, Sam Jackling, sister-in-law, Sandra Pizzaturo, and many loving family and friends. John was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, friend, a devout Catholic, and a well-respected attorney. He dedicated his life to helping others through his intellect and the Spencerport law practice that he maintained for over 40 years. The highlight of his career was serving the Gates community for 28 years as town justice. John was studious and passionate about the law at a very young age. His sister remembers catching Johnny reading law books and hiding them under his mattress. He went to James Madison High School, where he served as student union president and then received his undergraduate degree from St. John Fisher College. John also taught history at St. James Catholic School before pursuing law and received his law degree from the University of South Dakota in 1973. John will always be remembered as a generous, admirable, and selfless person devoted to God and family. He loved horses, antiques, and coin collecting, family stories, popcorn with lots and lots of butter, and telling quirky jokes. In his final years, he enjoyed moments spent with his family and grandchildren. The town of Gates recently honored John for his service and community contributions. On September 15th, his family received a plaque in his honor, which will forever be displayed in the Gates courtroom. Respectfully submitted by John's daughter, Renee Piazza.
A tribute to Joseph G. DiMaria, born 1928. Joe DiMaria was not only our dad, he was our employer. For Angela for the past 35 years and for Lucia over 20. He would constantly say that he was so lucky that he could work with his two daughters. I always knew and heard it over and over after his death that there was no one like him. He would drill it into our heads that the law is a kind of priesthood dedicated to the proposition of truth and justice. And that's how he lived his life and practiced his profession. A dear lawyer friend of mine said it best, "Your dad is one of the few remaining good guys back from the day when we all treated each other with respect and camaraderie." His office since 1985 was in Cornhill, and if you were near there, you would always have to stop in to say hello, and he always made time for you. It was more than just his job. It was his heart and soul. Dad always held a standard for himself, a self-satisfaction and a genuine pride, especially the pride in his legal profession. He had the ability to see through all the distractions to what the real issues were, and he did it with kindness and a gentleness you don't see very often in this chaotic world. We will always remember him and miss him forever. Angela and Lucia DiMaria.
A tribute to the Honourable Harold H. Latier Jr. Harold Latier passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by his family. He is survived by his wife, his two sons and their spouses, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and extended family and friends. Harold, or Duff to family and friends, was devoted to his family first and foremost, and was the nucleus of our family. He loved getting together and was a constant source of joy and laughter. Some of his favourite times were his vacations to Myrtle Beach with his wife Kathy and his beloved dog Squirt, fishing on his boat and playing his piano. He was employed at Kodak for 21 years and attended Empire State College in the evenings to obtain his Bachelor of Science degree. He then earned his law degree from Syracuse University in 1990. Being an attorney was his passion, and one of his most cherished jobs was being an attorney for the children and representing their best interests. Harold was also a justice in the Wheatland Town Court for 24 years, where his dedication to firm yet compassionate justice reigned and was a credit to his character. Community was important to Duff, and he served in several capacities, whether on the zoning board, cemetery board, volunteering for the fire department, or coaching Little League. Duff was a remarkable man who lived his life to the fullest, and he left his mark on so many lives and is dearly missed by all who knew him. Respectfully submitted by the Latier family.
A tribute to Martin Lukacher. Marty graduated Temple University Law School in 1958. He then moved his family to Rochester to be head patent counsel for General Dynamics. When that company left Rochester, he started a solo practice focusing on patents and trademarks. For years, the Rochester media called Marty as an expert on newsworthy intellectual property law issues. As president and founding member of the Rochester Patent Law Association, he spoke about patent law, and he appeared on the old Eddie Meath TV show, which further enhanced his career. In 1979, he joined Nixon, Hargrave, Devins, and Doyle while keeping his solo practice and helping to build Nixon's first intellectual property law group. He then served as of counsel to Harris Beach and Wilcox. Marty loved to smoke cigars with friends and colleagues, especially in his office, even when he was told not to do that. He loved to exercise at the Jewish Community Center and led calisthenics classes until aerobics became popular. But his passion was being an attorney, and helping companies and inventors build patent portfolios and solve intellectual property issues. Marty continued in later years as a patent attorney in his youngest son Ken's practice, with several clients he worked with early on in his career. He retired at age 84. Marty always took care of his family and loved being with his grandchildren. His wife Gloria's illness and passing in 2017 was very challenging after 65 years of marriage. But with his family's help, he transitioned to the Jewish home of Rochester, where he lived until age 91. Marty was one of a kind and irreplaceable. Respectfully submitted, Kenneth Luketcher.
A tribute to William H. Helfrich. Bill Helfrich had a brilliant legal mind, exceptional judgment, and keen knowledge of the law. He passed away at age 80 after a lengthy illness. Born and raised in the city of Troy, New York, Bill's path to a legal career was an uncommon one, as he first attended the Albany College of Pharmacy before a major shift in gears, enrolling at the Albany Law School. There he excelled, graduating as class valedictorian. Bill then moved to Rochester, where he served as a law assistant at the Appellate Division 4th Department, before joining the firm of Weiser Shaw, now Harder, Seacrest, and Emery, in 1971. Bill quickly established himself as a skilled litigator and counselor, elected to the firm's partnership in record time. He focused his practice on resolving corporate and land use disputes. Recognized by his peers for his excellence, he was elected to the prestigious American College of Trial Lawyers. And his partners relied on his pragmatic judgment as a longtime member of Harder Seacrest's Management Committee. In retirement, Bill continued to serve the firm as its in-house counselor on practice management and ethical issues. As a youngster growing up in the Capital Region, Bill became enamored with the sport of kings, watching the world-class thoroughbred horse racing at nearby Saratoga. He maintained that interest upon moving to Rochester, eventually becoming an owner of several racehorses, including a few winners at the Finger Lakes racetrack. Bill and his wife of 51 years, Carol, shared a passion for the game of bridge, for Shakespeare's plays at the festival at Stratford, Ontario, and for opera and theater at their retirement home in Sarasota. Bill Helfrich lived life well and earned the friendship and respect of all who knew him. Respectfully submitted by his law partner, Thomas G. Smith.
A tribute to the Honorable Andrew V. Syracuse. This event would mean so much to our father. He not only loved the law, he was passionate about the law. Being a judge was his highest honor and a life goal he was able to achieve. He started out driving a truck for his father's business in Brooklyn and with his mother's encouragement, he went to Utica College, where he met his wife, Marie. He then attended Syracuse University Law School, where he received his JD and was admitted to the New York State Bar in 1959. After graduation, he moved with his family to Valhalla, New York, where his first assignment was working for the railroad. He commuted to New York City 5 days a week. The family later moved to Rochester, where he started a private practice with his partner, Donald Salamone. With his practice growing, he was approached to run for Supreme Court in 1974. He ran on a shoestring budget and was elected as a Democrat, which was a very difficult thing to do at that time. He served 2 terms and still passionately practiced law after retirement. People who knew our father, including attorneys and clients, held him in the highest respect and had great things to say. I remember one person sharing his story of a difficult custody battle for his son. Our father ruled in the gentleman's favor, and that person knew that for my father, it was always about what was best for the kids, not the parents. His greatest virtue was his reputation and his honesty. He always ruled on the law, not on sides. He will be missed by his friends, colleagues, and most of all, his family. We all appreciate your honoring our father and the other great men and women we remember today. Respectfully submitted, his sons, Keith and Craig Syracuse.
A tribute to John R. Tyler II. John grew up in Canandaigua, New York, and attended Canandaigua Academy. He went on to Amherst College, where he majored in economics and graduated cum laude in 1956. Upon graduation, he entered officer training school in Newport, Rhode Island, and would spend the next 3 years aboard a U.S. Navy destroyer, where he had the opportunity to visit numerous locales in the Pacific. Once his naval service was complete, he entered Harvard Law School, graduating in 1963 and joining the law firm of Nixon Hargrave, now Nixon Peabody. His entire career was spent there, and he retired in 1998 after spending 5 years on the management committee and 25 years as head of the firm's banking and lending practice. John was heralded as a skilled corporate lawyer who handled a wide variety of complex legal transactions for many influential companies. During his lifetime, he also was on county and statewide banking law committees. His family, colleagues, and friends will truly, truly miss him. Respectfully submitted, Mrs. Janet Tyler.
This is a memorial tribute to Michael C. Dwyer, 1942 to 2023. Mike Dwyer had a long and satisfying association with the Monroe County Bar Association. He served as president in 2001 through 2002. And in 2021, he was honored to receive the Justin F. Vigdor Senior Award for Service. A graduate of Brown University and Cornell Law School, Mike worked first at Underberg and Kessler and later at Harder Seacrest and Emory. Naturally curious, in retirement, Mike especially enjoyed taking courses at the Osher Institute. If ever there was an optimist, it was Mike. His cheerful disposition and his quick wit endeared him to all. He loved being on a sailboat with family and friends. Some of our favorite times were spent racing with his crew at the Rochester Yacht Club and taking family cruising vacations. Mike could also be seen on the ski slopes, on a hiking trail, and at his beloved cottage in Muskoka, Canada. Muskoka was a gathering place for our family and friends. He enjoyed nothing more than watching our sons and grandchildren thrive. Friends were friends for life. Mike stayed in touch, asked questions, listened, and laughed at your corny jokes. From the warm remembrances I received, it is clear that Mike touched many lives. Here is a sample. Upbeat, warm,
Vibrant, funny, smart, principled, supportive, honest, dependable, full of fun, generous, a good soul, a mensch, a guiding progressive light, a rational voice, thoughtful commentary, a legacy of service for others. He brought kindness and joy, easy manner, natural, warm, friendly, smart, droll observations about our world, capable, courteous, and a pleasure, likable and much admired, a great guy, a good man through and through. Respectfully submitted, Joan Dwyer, Mike Dwyer's wife. This is a memorial tribute to John E. Philippone, 1941 through 2023. John E. Philippone died June 19, 2023. He is survived by his wife Eileen, 3 children, and 8 grandchildren. John served Monroe County as an assistant district attorney from 1966 through 1972. He then became special counsel to the Rochester Police Commissioner. In 1974, John began his private practice and was later admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. In 1916, the Monroe County Bar Association honored him for 50 years in the practice of law. The best way to describe John's storied and honorable career is to share what clients had to say upon learning of his passing. One client expressed condolences to the family as follows, quote, John was our attorney for 48 years, a divorce and adoption, closing attorney, and estate and will planning. He made a visit to the house just before my husband passed away. I don't know what I would have done without John guiding me along the way. John had your back and provided the best guidance. RIP to a wonderful attorney and friend. Another client shared, quote, he was not only our trusted attorney, but we considered him family. We have so many wonderful memories of John. John loved God, his family, the law, music, and sports. He was a former member of the executive committee and a former vice president of Rochester Community Baseball, past president of the Italian American Businessmen's Association, and attended St. Stanislaus Church. John inspired many to join the legal profession, including his son, who has practiced law for 30 years in Syracuse. Respectfully submitted by David Philippone, that son who has practiced law for 30 years in Syracuse.
Tribute to James C. Moore. Jim Moore was a force of nature. As a revered trial lawyer, bar leader, and citizen of the world. Born and raised in Albany in 1939, Jim was a graduate of the Albany Academy and Cornell's undergraduate college and law school. As an officer in the United States Army, he earned his wings as a paratrooper, serving a tour in Vietnam as a JAG officer. Upon joining the firm of Harder Seacrest, actually Weiser Shaw, now Harder Seacrest and Emery, in the mid-1960s, Jim was a natural magnet for clients and quickly established a thriving insurance defense practice, eventually focusing on defending architects and engineers in complex malpractice cases. Jim used his take charge manner and deep booming voice to great effect inside and outside the courtroom. Never bashful, Jim enjoyed serving as the featured speaker at countless legal seminars, events, and community forums. Upon retirement, he actively served as a go-to mediator and arbitrator for nearly 20 years, selected by lawyers for his fairness and civility. Jim received countless honors for his service to the local, state, national, and international bars, including the Rodenbeck Award, serving as president of the New York State Bar Association, and as a member of the Paris-based Union Internationale des Advocats. An avid student of history, Jim took his children and grandchildren on countless excursions to virtually every Civil War battlefield. He served on the boards of several charitable organizations and enjoyed escorting patients as a volunteer around the Wilmot Cancer Center, driving his Vietnam veterans emblazoned golf cart. When Jim's beloved wife of 41 years, Shirley, passed away in 2010, he languished for a while before discovering love again with Jerry, relishing their whirlwind trips throughout the world and enjoying the works of Caravaggio, Jim's favorite artist. Jim Moore was a true Renaissance man who lived life to its fullest. Respectfully submitted by Geraldine Biddlemore and Thomas G. Smith.
A tribute to Charles Githler Jr., 1933 to 2023. Charlie Githler started practicing law in 1967 at age 27 with Antel Potter and Harris in the Union Trust Building. He struck out on his own at 42 and continued as a sole practitioner until his death this past June. During his 6 active decades, the profession saw epic changes. When he started, the office had just gotten its first Xerox machine. Front Street had not yet been displaced by urban renewal. Research was done at the law library with books. Filings were done in person. Documents delivered by messenger. No-fault insurance was a decade in the future. In his heyday, Charlie was a downtown legend, a fixture on the Four Corners. He had offices in the Powers Building, the Reynolds Arcade, and the Tallman Building, which is apparently what they call 25 East Main Street. For most of his career, this was the heart of the legal community. Downtown was bustling. Older attorneys will remember how lively the area was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and Charlie was in his element there. He was a raconteur and an incurable joke teller. Some of his stories were even suitable for general audiences. He was an intimate of judges and well known to almost every member of the bar. He also was on a first-name basis with every security guard and bailiff, knew the cook at Pillars in the Wilder Building, and had running tabs at Trevor's, Herbie's, and the Red Lion. Charlie outlasted almost everyone else who started in 1961 with a career that took him to his last days. Respectfully submitted by Charlie Githler III.
A tribute to Louis J. Gould. Lou passed away peacefully at 91 in Canandaigua, his adopted hometown. A native Rochesterian, Lou made lifelong friends attending No. 8 School and Franklin High School. He graduated from Northwestern University and Cornell Law School. Lou's first job was at the Legal Aid Society. He later formed Gould & Gould with his father. He admired his dad and adopted what his father considered the highest attributes of an attorney: respect for the law and the court, and most importantly, your word is your bond. Lou specialized in matrimonial law and was known for his expertise, tenacity, and commitment to his clients. Lou was most proud of a case he took on responding to a plea from Brother Weeze on a local radio station, a groundbreaking custody battle involving a New York father and a Florida mother. Lou achieved an extraordinary victory in the Court of Appeals. Lou involved himself in local politics and other civic activities. An avid golfer, skier, and fisherman, he spent many family vacations enjoying these sports. Lou became a physical fitness addict after retirement. He worked out almost every day until just before his passing. He had a quick wit and kept everyone in stitches with jokes and somewhat off-color limericks. Later still, he took up the piano, painting, and the drums. He was particularly proud of a portrait he painted of his beloved Shetland sheepdog, Ty. After moving to Canandaigua with Miriam, they added local Canandaiguans to their wide friend group, enjoying all the activities that the lake afforded. Lou was larger than life. His presence is greatly missed. Respectfully submitted by Lou's sister, Debbie Goldman.
Wow, difficult not to feel admiration and inspiration from the stories that we've heard today. Justice Taylor, this now concludes the reading of the memorial tributes, and I would move that a copy of the transcript of this special proceeding be kept as a permanent record of the court, and that a copy of each memorial tribute be filed within the minutes of the Monroe County Bar Association. Thank you, Judge. And just before we adjourn for the day, I want to again thank you personally, Judge Taylor, for your remarks and for presiding over this entire ceremony. Your warmth and sincerity is just felt by all of us. Thanks also again to the members of the judiciary for being with us today, and of course to the members of the Memorial Committee for all of your hard work and efforts to make sure that we contact tribute writers, and to also make sure that our colleagues who passed away during the past year were appropriately honored and remembered. It really is, I have to say, it is a pleasure working with this group of people. They have such incredible and great hearts, and they did such a wonderful job bringing texture and feeling and color to the words that they read. I think we were all able to feel a lot of the spirit of the people we honored. So thank you again for all of that. Some more thank yous, particularly to Taylor Nowak and to Susan Hearn from the Monroe County Bar Association for putting this memorial together. Taylor is just incredible. It was Taylor's first year doing this and just did a remarkable job. She had incredible patience. She kept us all, by us all I mean me, in line. So we thank her very much for that. We couldn't have done any of this without her. Thank you also to Amy Monachino from the Hall of Justice, and to Joseph for the tech support today. And also we want to thank the foundation of the Monroe County Bar Association for its support. And last, I want to thank again the tribute writers for sharing your words and your stories and your memories. It's not easy to write a tribute. I know that from personal experience, but you did it. And you did a wonderful job. Every tribute was memorable. Every tribute was special. And we are honored that you were able to share your memories with us for all of your friends, colleagues, and loved ones. And I just hope as we all listen to the tributes today, that there were times that maybe you reflected, there were times that you smiled. I know there were times when you laughed a little bit. And of course, there were times where you probably got a little teary-eyed. It's absolutely appropriate and perfectly fine, perfectly natural. But most of all, I hope hearing the tributes brought all of us some comfort and support and strength. So on behalf of the Memorial Committee and the Monroe County Bar Association, we thank you all again for being with us today. And just a quick announcement, please join us after the ceremony out in the hall for a reception outside the courtroom, where we'd ask one member from the family or friends of each honoree come up, and we'll present you with a flower and also a copy of the tribute book. Justice Taylor, I now move to adjourn the special proceeding and the 2023 memorial ceremony.
Thank you, Mr. Rogoff. I want to say a thank you to you for doing such a wonderful job in your role today. Also, I want to thank all the members of the committee as well. What an extraordinary service each and every one of you do to the profession. So I want to thank you all for what you've done today. Again, my deepest condolences to the family and friends of those we honor today. Thanks to all who joined us to reflect on the contributions, the many contributions of the attorneys who have given so much to our profession, their families, and our community. As Mr. Rogoff said, the tributes that we heard today were touching, they were extraordinary, and they were truly a celebration of amazing careers, full of accomplishment. But Although this is a solemn occasion, I agree with Mr. Rogoff. It was wonderful to see the smiles and to see the laughters. I know many of the folks that we paid tribute to would be glad to see you all smiling and laughing about some of the wonderful things that they have done in their lives. And I hope that each and every person in this room, that you won't forget the stories that you heard today. Don't forget those stories. These are stories of lives well lived, of families well loved, of communities well served, and legal careers that were well spent. I know I speak for all the attorneys in this room when I say that we all truly stand on the shoulders of giants. And today, we celebrated those giants. They will be missed. Thank you again, Mr. Rogoff and the committee, for giving me the honor to preside today. Mr. Rogoff, your motion is granted. Thank you, council. Court is now adjourned. Thank you.
All rise for the adjournment of the ceremony.
Right here, sorry, I gave him Joe's name before I knew he'd be here.
It's okay.
Thank you, though. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Molly. Nice try.
Such a huge relief. I feel so good.
Yep, it's all over now.
Thank God.
Breathe.
Now we start again for next
Don't
year.
even think about it. I saw you try it.
Here's this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good job, Mr. Chairman. How are you? Doing well. Great job.